Hello and welcome to TVC News at 4. We begin in the United Arab Emirates, where President Bola Tinubu says Nigeria is committed to methane emission reductions by at least 30% by 2030. The president said this on Saturday in Dubai while addressing stakeholders at the ongoing Global Climate Summit, popularly known as COP28. Methane is a hydrocarbon that is a primary component of natural gas as well as a greenhouse gas, and its presence in the atmosphere affects the Earth's temperature and climate system. And speaking at a forum on methane and other non-CO2 emissions reductions, the president said Nigeria, as a signatory to the COP28 Global Decarbonisation Accelerator and having signed off as a member of the UN Global Compact, was working to achieve the aim of the summit. The president assured the gathering that Nigeria would continue to partner in progress to achieve renewables, and the Minister of Finance and Coordinate Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, and the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji, also speak.
We partner in progress to achieve renewables. We are committed to energy mix. We are providing cooking gas for a large population. We will continue to do that. We've signed off on reduction of methane. We will leverage on new technology.
President Bola Tinubu speaking earlier there. Well, let's quickly bring in for more discussions, let's quickly bring in our resource person, APC Deputy Chairman, Canada Chapter, Dr. Abiola Oshodi, and he joins me from Canada. Good to have you on the news at this time. So first off, let's get your reaction first on the president's commitment that the country will reduce its methane emissions by 2030. What do you make of this?
Thanks for having me in the studio again. I'll say that's quite an ambitious statement there from the president. 2030 is about 7 years from now. And it would be desirable if we can reduce our carbon emission by, 70%, representing about 30% of carbon emission to the atmosphere. That's quite remarkable. But I think beyond that, the president needs to provide specifics in terms of what climate plan that we have on ground to be able to achieve that. It's a great plan, though, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, in terms of specifics, should you share with us what are the deliverables you're looking out here?
Well, I don't have access to whatever the government's master plan is, but what I do know is that at the COP26, that was about 2 years ago, we signed an agreement to achieve zero emission by 2060, which means we need to invest about $10 billion annually over the next 30 years or thereabouts on renewable energies, such as energies from the sun, from the wind, from our ocean, they call them tidal waves energy, and green hydrogen. So, I'm not sure we are investing this amount of money to transition from a fossil-derived energy to the renewable energy. But it would be desirable, though, if we can see such plan.
And what would you think it would take for us to transit to renewable energy, seeing that that is the way to go at this point?
It's very easy, though, because I did a little bit of my research. And, one idea I can sell to the government is that at the moment, the diaspora economic group, of which I'm part of, we send about $20 billion annually to Nigeria for people to pay tuition, to celebrate their parties, to pay for health and stuff like that. And nothing comes back to the diaspora. So I think it's time for the government to take us very, very seriously as partners in progress and create the legal and administrative framework for a kind of a diaspora investment in Nigeria. The $10 billion we need to transition to the renewable energy can easily be funded by diaspora. If we get the government commitments and align our aspiration with that of the government, we can easily, get this funding from diaspora. 10 billion annually over the next 20, 30 years, majority of diaspora will subscribe to this idea.
All right, let's look at it. Okay, go ahead. Let's land you land. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's time for the government to start to look inward in what we can do, within ourselves.
All right, so in terms of looking inwards now, we also understand that the president at the meeting with the delegates at the United Arab Emirates, COP28, also said Nigeria requires investments in alternative energy to be able to fully transit. Although we're not privy to how much terms of investment that the country has garnered while over there, but what are your proposals, or what do you think Nigeria should be looking in terms of investments for renewable energy in the country?
Well, we need a lot of investments. Like I said, the energy experts or the green energy experts believe that we need at least $10 billion annually, to invest in critical infrastructure that would, help us achieve that transition over the next couple of years. And I think I agree with them. The question is the government implementing the energy framework for such transition to occur? For example, I own a farm in Nigeria, and our farmhouse is powered by solar energy. And that's we've been using for like 4 years consistently, providing 24 hours electricity, to my farm workers. So you expect a government that's, wants to achieve 30% reduction in carbon or 70% reduction in carbon emission into the atmosphere over the next 7-8 years, to come up with a specific plan, whereby people that are using solar energy for their electricity supply are incentivized and made popular, amongst other initiatives that will promote a clean atmosphere, which is the overarching objective of the COP28.
Quickly bring you on another issue where the president also said that the country, that about 100 electric buses have been rolled out in different parts of the country. But the question some would ask is, do we have the infrastructure to carry this, this project, this initiative? What are your thoughts on this? And do you think this is sustainable?
Well, it's desirable that we rolled out 100 buses powered by CNG, compressed natural gas. The question, though, like you said, is do we have what it takes, the capacity to make it sustainable? I'm still waiting for the master plan from the government, how they want to achieve this. It will be desirable if we have the technical expertise. Even if we don't, we can partner with other countries that have advanced a lot in that area to train our personnel. We have a very vast youthful population that are trainable, in such skills as converting other fossil-powered machines and vehicles to the compressed natural gas, which we have in enormous amounts. I think the ball is in the court of the government to give us a direction, but quite desirable and worth celebrating. I want to see, a situation whereby 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 buses are rolled out, powered by CNG and other renewable energy sources.
And finally, what do you make of the negotiations between Nigeria and Siemens in terms of electric power supply?
I was quite excited, though, when the initial agreement was signed in 2018 between Nigeria and Germany by President Mohamed Buhari at the time and Angela Merkel of Germany. It portends a lot of hope at the time. But unfortunately, this was short-lived by COVID-19, which affected the implementation of the agreement substantially. And we've gone beyond COVID-19 now, and we understand there are some administrative bottlenecks that have kind of almost stalled the agreement. But I was happy when I read that there's a new agreement that has been signed to expedite and prioritize the 2018 agreement now between a representative from Nigeria and a representative from the Siemens. They signed this agreement a few days ago as a sideline of this COP28 conference. So that was quite exciting. And I think they put a timeline of implementation between 18 to 24 months, which makes it easy for us to track. And hopefully, the agreement would lead to substantial energy availability in Nigeria so that we don't live in darkness.
All right, and that's a fine place to leave it. Abiola Oshodi, thank you so much for your insights on the news at 4:00.
Thanks for having me once again.